Do you ever feel like sexual tension stuff from men, like creepy dudes?
Yeah.
Or like dudes
yeah.
like trying to grab you in a weird ways?
Yeah.
I remember being really uncomfortable. I remember the very first time I rolled with a woman as a white belt and being really uncomfortable with just like the closeness and like apologizing, like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to like touch your butt or like whatever. Yeah. And like being like really, really uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. But then like over time understanding that like, I don't know, there's some way that it ends up happening that you're like rolling with someone from the opposite sex and it's void of like any sexuality. You know what I mean? Like you can be in those positions
there was this European girl who had giant boobs and would break you down in her guard and smother you with her fucking boobs.
To tap
mother's
you?
milk?
I was about to say, is that the original mother's milk?
And I remember looking over at Chris Shaw, like, is this really happening? And she's like, that's what she does. It's just
mother boat, you son of a bitch.
It's like, okay, well, I gotta break it because I was getting drowned.
Yeah. Well, look, I'd like to propose this too. A man on man. You could feel weird about that as well. Like if we just think we've never done this before, and I'm going to go throw some dude, I'm a dude, and I'm going to go throw another dude in
it's a gay-ass looking sport.
For sure.
My guard or a woman on woman or whatever it is. But I think that there's a level of desensitization, is that how you said that word? Yeah. That happens when we do this for a while. And that's why it becomes more comfortable to roll with women. Now, there's creeps. That's another story because you asked about creeps, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, creeps.
There are creeps out there.
There's creeps or guys who want to get with some swinging. There's people who want to swing. There's people who approached us in a locker room and we're like, you should go in the jacuzzi.
in Iceland, yeah.
But, you know.
These are Vikings, you know, that's what they do.
The way they roll.
Yeah, polyamory. Yeah. So, you know, all that kind of stuff where, you know, there haven't been many instances because I feel like, especially having Chris as my partner, I have never been single and done jiu-jitsu. I've only done jiu-jitsu with Chris as my either husband, fiance, boyfriend. So that, and he has a presence, right, as a established black belt. Back when everybody wasn't a black belt, back before everyone was a black belt, and it was rare that you saw one. He was one. And so people kind of, I think, respected that.
Those were the days.
But people respected that and didn't like try to hit on me when I was a young, cute, stupid woman on the mat all the time, right? Except for one guy.
I wonder how, I'm curious, like in general, how much women in jiu-jitsu are experiencing.
All day, every day, especially with social media. All day.
But then they want. Why do they go on there with their butts and boobs hanging out? I don't understand that part.
No.
Okay, the ones. Okay.
And listen, I talk to a lot of women within the jiu-jitsu community, and I will say, yes, there are definitely some girls that do that.
Yeah,
women,
a lot.
Women.
A lot
that
of
do
women.
That,
yes.
Right. But
those are the ones that certainly stand out.
For sure.
They have the most followers.
That's also true. But then there are women who are genuinely just have Instagram like everyone else to show their life and post things that they like. And this is a common thing. It's a joke. I'm sure you've probably heard of this in the jiu-jitsu community where a dude will roll with a woman and then after they'll message them and be like, hey, thanks for the roll, as a way to like
slide in.
Yeah.
And they do it all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Girl, man, it's insane.
But probably like young single women, right?
You'd be surprised.
Even old married women like me?
Yeah.
No one's doing that to me. What's your problem? I'm at the point in my life where I'd probably be flattered.
It is.
You're still afraid of Chris.
It's Chris.
They're afraid of Chris.
100%.
But though I'm going to tell you that if you guys do want to do that, I'd be flattered. I don't think you care. Just saying.
But
because I'm getting old.
That's really a thing, though, and I have heard many stories of women who are dating men that are not a part of the jiu-jitsu community, and don't look like tough guys.
I think it'd be hard to be that dude.
The guys in the gym or guys in the in the community that see them on social media, whether they see them with their husband or their children or whatever, they don't care. They'll make passes, they'll say different things, and it's super disrespectful. But it's because those men don't respect.
Yes.
They don't respect the other. The husband. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So Chris is like my buffer. That's why I never get hit on.
Because people they
you know what?
respect
Sometimes I get hit on.
A little
Sometimes
bit.
I'll get little internet stalkers that somebody
Yep.
wants to fly me to France, or that's happened before. I got hit on by women too. Sometimes, but not in a long time. That's what I'm saying, because I think I'm getting old.
She's like, I want it. Where is the validation?
The haters can stop hating, but where's my lovers? My lovers.
I mean, I've heard this tale at least 5, if not 10 times, where the guy opens up the Jiu Jitsu school, him and his wife. His wife gets into the Jiu Jitsu. 3 years later, she's sleeping with the dude who's opening up the next school down the block, right? That's like a very common tale. And it's very common that I hear the story of Jiu-Jitsu black belt comes into town, opens up a school, starts charging people extra money over here and there, picks up a substance abuse problem, sleeps with a couple wives. Like, that's a common thing, right? And I do think that in all sports, all athletics, but in combat sports, there's probably some of your hormones are amped and other things that make a lot of people more sexually aggressive. I think that is a thing. And I think, like, just as because we exist in packs, when you have somebody who's seeking to become the alpha of a pack, which is the person who wants to open up a school, they tend to have drives that are not always fresh out in the open.
Would you maybe think, though, too, that because this is such a physical martial art, maybe it attracts people who are sexually aggressive rather than jiu-jitsu making people sexually aggressive?
Yes, actually, it's probably that.
Yes. So they want to rub on somebody.
It's probably that more. Yep.
I feel like the interesting thing is that the sexuality component is so context dependent, meaning that, like, you can be in the most, like, sexual positions with somebody in jiu-jitsu, but there's no sexual context there.
Yes, which is weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
Especially if you're a non-jiu-jitsu type.
It's a crazy phenomenon.
Look at that shit.
Well,
that dude's
okay.
hairy thigh is right up against that man's face.
Yeah.
And he likes it.
Yeah,
well, just to explain it, though, is that we are thinking about being technical or enjoying our role or whatever it is, and we're not in that headspace.
Yeah.
Right? It's like we're just thinking about how are we going to utilize what we've been training to get out of this position or dominate this position. It's not, this isn't a sexual thing. It becomes completely, differentiated. And one time some guy grabbed my butt, and it was another guy who kind of, and like he grabbed my butt and then like smiled at me, like did like a thing, like where I could tell, I was like, ew, like I never trained with him again after that. But it was somebody in another position of power who was like a dominant figure at the place that we were at that could maybe like think that he's like on the same status as Chris, probably. You know what I mean?
He pretty much was,
Yeah, where that happened, because he was another instructor. And then it was like, okay, well, I'm not going to that class anymore.